informal reading inventory is a valuable aid in helping teachers determine a student's reading levels and his or her strengths and weaknesses. It usually consists of oral and silent reading passages selected from a basal reader from the pre-primer to the 8th grade level. The purpose of an informal reading inventory is to serve as a diagnostic tool for teachers to determine the 4 levels of reading for students independently, instructionally, frustrationally, and functionally. To start an I.R.I, we start with a W.R.I, which is a word recognition inventory. This is an example. You start with the word recognition inventory 1 grade level. My student's name was Nicholas and he's in the 5th grade, so I started his word recognition at the 4th grade level. You have the student read off each word in a graded column until the student hits 4 errors in 1 grade. But the grade level where a student has 0 errors, the highest one is where you start. This student's highest level with 0 errors was 4th grade. So 4th grade would be where we start our oral reading. An oral reading passage comes from the basal reader, and you should have a copy as well as the student. And start the oral reading in a friendly environment to make the student feel comfortable. And you have the student start reading, and you can grade the student. There's a few types of errors and a few symbols for them. Certain errors could be omissions, substitutions, insertions, mispronunciations, hesitations, repetitions, reversals, or self-corrections. Repetitions or self-corrections can serve as 0. Mostly they serve as 1 error point. And you grade the student's word recognition errors. There are usually 10 comprehension questions after a passage. These are also graded with certain points, and the comprehension questions can be anywhere from literal to inference to word meaning. After they read and you give them the comprehension questions, you grade them through word recognition and comprehension, and then you can move on to a silent reading passage, which is also like the oral reading, where the student though reads to his or herself, and then once again you administer 10 comprehension questions. Depending on the student's grade level for the oral reading, the silent reading, and the word recognition, depending on the amount of errors, you can move up a grade level and continuously move up until the student hits their frustrational level where there's too many errors. Or you could start moving, if the student makes too many errors and already hit their frustrational level, you can start moving down a level. In my example, Nicholas, we started at the 4th grade reading level. His word recognition was almost perfect, just 3 out of 187 errors. But when it came to comprehension, he was 65% error versus 35% correct. So, because the student has learning disability and comprehension, instead of moving forward in his grade level, I had to move back, and we moved to the 3rd grade. In 3rd grade, once again, his word recognition was almost perfect, 1 out of 171 errors. But when it came to comprehension, it went from 5% errors to 95% correct. So, there's an example sheet in the book that we use to grade the student, an informal reading inventory sheet. And this one, you mark the amount of word recognition errors, comprehension errors, and silent reading. And this one, like I said, Nicholas started at the 4th grade reading level. In oral reading and in silent reading, the 4th grade was too high, so I moved him down to 3rd grade, which was his independent level. Then I tried a listening capacity test for the 4th grade level, and we did it over. When we did the 4th grade over, he went from 65% errors to 50% errors. So his listening capacity improved for 4th grade levels. That should be it. So once again, the informal reading inventory tests a student's reading levels, and it starts from word recognition to oral reading to silent reading. And it tests their 4 levels, once again, which was independent, instructional, frustrational, and functional. And when the student hits their frustrational level, then you may test the student's listening capacity test, where the teacher will read to the student and test if their comprehension improved or not.